What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the new LEGO Star Wars Coruscant Guard Gunship, so 75354 with 183 pieces that retails for $139.99. So this is a pretty cool set where we get a gunship in the Coruscant Guard design, so we get all this like maroonish red color design all over the ship, which looks cool, as well as some of our Coruscant Guards. So we have the Clone Commander Fox, as well as two of the shock troopers of the Coruscant Guard, and then we also get Padme Amidala and Chancellor Palpatine, which is really cool. It's awesome to get some characters, more based off Coruscant and stuff. So that is really cool. I love the look of the clone troopers. Padme and Palpatine are cool as well, which this is my first like playset version of a gunship. So I was super excited about that. I wish it was more of like a normal gunship, but having this version as well is pretty cool. Now I did do the UCS version of the gunship, but if you saw my video on that, it was way too big for any space that I had. So I just had to take it apart and it was just the overall size and build. So I'd much rather prefer a playset version. So of course this is the first one I'm able to get, and it's a Coruscant version instead of the normal one as well. But we'll just have to make do with it. But overall, I think it's a pretty cool set. I enjoyed the build of it, and the overall design with the red I think is pretty cool, but I would just love a normal one more. But on the back of the box we can see the ship, so we can see all our characters at the bottom, and of course some of the functions that the gunship has that we'll go through as well. So overall looks pretty cool, so pretty awesome set. So let's go and look at it, starting with the minifigs. So here are our 5 minifigs. We'll start with Palpatine. So he looks pretty cool as Chancellor Palpatine. So, before he fully turned bad as the Emperor, but looks pretty good, pretty similar to how he does in the Clone Wars, wearing mostly the red robes. But for his face, we have his older face. So he's got all the wrinkles and everything, and his whitish hair. Of course, this is more sort of blonde, but sort of slicked back there. And he, of course, has more of an evil looking face there printing on the back. So that's good. And then his outfit, like I said, with a lot of like red and some brown. So it has more of the brown like cross design hanging down into the brown sleeves, and then red underneath with the red robe up top with nice like printing designs on it there. So that looks good, and it continues down on the back, of course, with that slow piece to make it look like the dress design. So Palpatine overall looks pretty cool there. Then we get Padme Amidala. So now I looked this up, and it's supposed to seem to be more like from a season 6 episode where we had Padme with the Coruscant Guards. So I feel that's what's supposed to be, and she had this sort of outfit with the mostly all tan but the red jacket on over the top. So overall looks pretty good. The face looks relatively decent. She has the eyelashes and a little bit of lipstick there, and her hair back into a bun. So pretty simple hair there for Padme, and then she has more of an angry face there on the back, so that's pretty fun. And then like I said, her outfit with that red vest looks pretty good, even some little printing there that continues around to the back. And then the tan outfit, so the sleeves and the pants there, belt around the waist, and then brown gloves on her hands, and comes with a nice little gray blaster. And then we move to our Coruscant Guard, which is an elite corps of shock troopers that serve as military police force to protect the capital planet of Coruscant. They're led by Clone Commander Fox, and they accompany Jedi and senators to off-world assignments, as well as serve as bodyguards for Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. So again, makes sense why they're all together in this pack. So we'll start off with Fox, which looks pretty good. Love his like red design, so just a nice bright like basic red color, so it's all there up on his face to helmet. Of course, he's got the visor on there as well, and overall it just looks like the normal clone troopers, just obviously in red this time. Then he's got the white chest plate but red underneath for the rest of his armor, so that looks pretty cool, and nice, pockets and everything pretty similar to all our other clone troopers, so nothing really different there. He does have what looks to be like some comma printing on the side, so whereas they're supposed to have like the skirting material, but now they just sort of print it off to the side, so that kind of stinks, but then goes down to his white legs as well, so that overall looks pretty good. And then he's just got his 2 blasters as usual, and then we get our 2 shock troopers, which are going to be exactly the same, and overall look pretty good. So have the phase 2 clone armor just with the red details, which I've always loved the shock troopers just because the red, so red stripe on the head, a little red dashes there above the eyes and around the mouth, and then red on the chest plate and belt, and red down on the legs as well, and some red on the thighs there, and then continues around to the back with some red around that belt, and come with the standard clone blaster as well with a printing underneath, so of course look like Jango Fett. So overall pretty cool to get those 2. At least I love the Coruscant Guard with the red design so much, so getting Fox and those 2 are really cool. And then I like Padme and Palpatine as well, so I really like the character selection with this set, so overall I'm happy with that. And then we have our gunship, which is the Low Altitude Assault Transport, or LAAT, but again in the Coruscant Guard design, so it's got a lot of this red. Now, unfortunately, like when I first saw this leaked, I thought it was going to be, actually more red, similar to like Fox and the Coruscant Guard, but it's actually more of a maroon red, so like a darker red or a brownish red, whatever you want to call it. But overall, I think it looks pretty cool. It looks just like the gunship, not too much different from that UCS gunship I built, just obviously in a much smaller scale because that ship was humongous, but overall has a relatively similar build and design. So so I was pretty familiar with building this from that. But like I said, this is my first ever play scale version of it, so I think that's pretty cool. But like I said, I would have loved to have a regular, but the red really stands out a lot. So on the ship we have 2 guns in the front, so we have these 2 guns that of course can like spin around and aim wherever you want them. And then we go up to our 2 pilot sections. So of course we have a section for a pilot and a co-pilot, so control different things. So one, flies the ship around and the other controls the guns. Love the Republic logo, so we have the cog there on the side as well as up here right next to the pilots, so that's going to be the same on both sides. And then we can start to go back, of course, mostly all red. We have our big missile launchers up top and probably engines and everything there, with our 2 wings out to the side that lead 2 guns on each side. Now unfortunately I like the older style where they were like the dome shape and would have guns that can shoot out and be controlled by the pilot, but now they've just sort of built this design, which I guess is probably the best that they could do with it. So it's kind of makes this dome like design with our 2 stud shooters, so it's not absolutely horrible. I just wish it would look a little bit better, more dome like. So that will be the same on each side, perfectly mirrored of each other. As we go to the back, of course I have this door open, so we'll go ahead and close it. On each side here we do have a little storage compartment, so we have just little storage things, so we can put weapons and stuff inside there. A gun off the back, again controlled by that co-pilot to shoot out the back. And then that's really going to be it for the exterior before we start to move inside. And since we're on the back here, we'll go ahead and do this. So on the back here as well, we also have the Republic cog, so that's pretty cool. But we have the back door that can open up, so it can come down. So obviously when the ship's sitting down here, it can open up, and this is where like usually like speeders and stuff come out of the back. So that is pretty cool. That's included. Unfortunately there's nothing in here, it's all pretty empty and basic, as we'll see, but it's still cool that it has that back door on there, even though you don't really need it. And then we can go to the sides here, or the side doors. So we have this whole side door. Usually it's like 2 separate sections. I think one like goes forward and one more to the back. I don't really remember exactly how the gunship worked, but what's pretty cool about this is that we have these little like pieces here on the back. So obviously you can just manually open it, but if you just grab onto this piece and push back, it'll open up the door. So I think that's pretty cool. So it kind of like sort of opens it up there. So instead of just grabbing the door and opening it and closing it, you can just push on this and it'll open it. And you can do that for both sides at the same time, just like open and close them together, which is pretty cool. So they'll open up there to see the interior of our gunship, so of course where all of our troops are stored and like get brought into battle. Now the one thing that's usually different is that there's usually like open slits on the side here. So this time they just put these clear tiles, which of course I've knocked them all askew because they're not perfectly all sitting on studs, so that some kind of get messed up, but they're usually opening, so they just put these little like clear pieces, I guess, to serve as like that or as windows or whatever. But we just have that door that can open and close there. But like I said, we just have the whole door this time, so it's kind of a big section that goes to the back, but we can go to the inside to, like I said, see where all of our troops will stand. And as I said, pretty empty and basic in there, so not a whole lot. So we could just take random stuff and throw inside. And then we go to our other section that's under the cockpit area, and so this just has a door that'll open up, again same on both sides, so you can open up, and again more storage area. But with this we get absolutely nothing, so you can just come up with something and stick it inside. So it's just a nice little open area of storage, I guess. So cool that it opens and has all that, but I wish there would actually be a feature of it, so something that went inside there. And then we can go up to our cockpit up top. So again, we have our 2 cockpits to sit people, so we can take our characters. So we'll just take like one of our normal shock troopers and sit them inside as the pilot, so you can sit them down inside there and close the lid. And then like for our co-pilot, as it shows on the box, we can take Fox and stick him inside here, so that would be pretty cool to sit him, or you can just sit that other shock trooper if you want down inside there. So there we have both of them just sitting inside. They're now piloting the gunship, and then I just usually take our other characters and stand them inside. So there we have Padme and Palpatine with our other shock trooper there now flying off for another mission. So that is pretty cool, and like I said, like the way that looks. So nice open area to sit all of our characters, and they all fit in the ship pretty well. Now another feature of the ship is that it does have this handle. So I don't like this whole section like the way it looks in here, but it does function for our handle that you can grab onto and lift up, and then it allows you to sort of lift the gunship up and carry it around and play with it. Now unfortunately, as you see as I pick it up, it's kind of hanging back. There seems to be more weight at the back, so instead of it staying flat or something, it's kind of hanging at an angle there, but at least gives you a handle so you can pick it up and carry it around and move it easily without like other pieces falling off. And then of course lastly at the top we have our missile section, but unfortunately on this ship there is no missiles. It's just kind of open. I'm trying to get it where you can see back here, it's just open on there, so unfortunately no missiles that feed into this that shoot off like the UCS version had, so it's just open in there. But that's where the missiles would be for that section. So overall, like I said, it's not the best gunship. Doesn't have like that missile features, has these weird guns on the side that I don't like as much, and then the doors I don't like. I think they're fine, but I think they could be a little bit better maybe if they did the separation version, and then if there was something inside here. I just, wish there was more to it, and like I said, it'd be like the ultimate version of the gunship, because, for my first one, it'd be nice to have, since I thought the past gunships were much better off. I thought this would be a good ship, which, like I said, overall I am happy with it. Like, after building it and stuff, having it here, I do really like the design, especially with the colors, the characters, all that sort of stuff have really make me like it. I just wish the overall ship itself was more of what I want it to look like, which is pretty much, your normal basic gunship, but it works for what it's supposed to, trying to carry off that Coruscant Guard gunship. So like I said, there's a lot of things I like about it, a lot of things I don't, but I think overall it's more of a positive than a negative on this ship. So overall I am pretty happy with it. I just hope they come out with a better version in a few years. But let me know your opinions on this gunship down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank y'all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.